Hey y'all, welcome or welcome back to Babeinlibrary. It's your girl Lisa, and today we're going to talk about my March planned TBR. I'm a little all over the place, but I do have some books that I want to read. There are some amazing releases that's coming out in March, and we're inching closer to Black Romance Fest. So, of course, I'm going to try to do my best to read as many of those authors that will be attending that convention in Atlanta in May. So, let's first start off with the first book that I'm reading for the month, which is The Neighbor Favor by Christina Forrest. This is a neighbors to lovers pen pal romance where our female main character is writing to her favorite author, telling her how much his book had inspired her, not knowing that he would write her back, and potentially get a chance to meet him and figure out whether or not there's chemistry not only in the emails but in real life. So this is the first book that I'm going to read for the month of March. And then kind of keep it on brand, speaking in the title wise, I am going to be reading Siobhan Latrice's The Marriage Favor. This one is an arranged marriage that I don't necessarily know too much about, but the audiobook just came into my library hold and they have the entire series. So if I like it, which most people on the internet have liked the series, and this author will be at Black Romance Fest, I might wind up binging the entire series. And if I do, you all will get a video for that and join that journey. The next book that I plan to read for the month of March is going to be Sinful Vows by Asia Monique. This stunning cover is, I believe, a final chapter or Hello Lovely book edition, but either way, this is a special edition that I think is just absolutely gorgeous. This one is a mafia romance, and I think this one as well is an arranged marriage. So I may have two back to back. This is also a series, so I do plan on continuing with this series, but I don't think I'm going to binge it. I think I'm going to take my time and pace myself. On the flip end, I'm going to be reading Speak by J.L. Seekers. You all know I love J.L. Seekers, so anytime she comes out with something, I will be reading it. She came out with Speak at the end of February, and this one is a story featuring a divorced couple. Whether or not they're going through divorce or they're already divorced, there's still probably something that's lingering between the two, or you're going to get their romance as they're, trying to figure out if this relationship is worth saving. So I've heard really good things about this one. I've tried to be spoiler free, so I am not going to tell you all too much because I don't much more than what I've given you. So this is what I'm going to be reading as well in the month. There are two anticipated releases that are coming out this month. One is going to be Oathbound by Tracy Deonn. I will be reading this as soon as it hits my Libby app because I think I'm like first in line. When I told you I was not playing about getting Tracy Deonn's third in the Legendborn series, like baby girl was immediately download. Like I need it. However, because it's been so long since Bloodmark came out, I think I'm going to have to reread it. Now, this one was one that I was like, oh, I'm really fuzzy on. Like, Legendborn, I've read it a number of times, so it's locked in. Bloodmark, I've read it once, and even when I was reading it, I was a little confused. Like, who is this new person? Okay, he's funny, but is he a bad guy? Okay, are we beefing with Nick? Is Stell on our side? What are we doing? So in order for me to prepare myself for Oathbound, I think I may need to do a reread of Bloodmark and then jump into it, which means that I don't have much time to read this. And it's 500 pages. So we'll see how it goes. If I decide not to read this and I'm going in blind, maybe it's just vibes at this point and I'll follow the plot blindly as I get through it. So one way or another, Tracy Deonn will be read in the month of March. Another anticipated release, which is going to be the final in this particular series, you all know I have to read Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. This is Hendrix' story, and let me say, Hendrix is my gal. Like, when I first saw Hendrix appear on Yasmin's story, and I was like, oh, I like her. And then Kennedy was like, yeah, I'm gonna tease it out. Like, I know you ladies are feeling Hendrix, like she's giving you the best friend that's a writer, and she's going to support all of your babies and be the best auntie that there is, knowing that she probably doesn't actually really want kids herself. She's just going to show up for you and yours because that's the type of woman she is. I said, okay, Kennedy. And the further it got going in the series, like, oh, she's going to stand 10 toes on that. Like, she is going to give us the representation of the women who don't want children, which is rare that we find in a romance book. I said, oh, best believe, as soon as it comes out. Now, I did try to get an ARC. I was denied, and my feelings aren't hurt, because personally, I know there's only so many that can go out. So I figured I would wait. And I'm going to choose this as a silver lining moment, because at the time that the ARCs came out, we did not have a discussion of narrators. But since then, Kennedy has come out to say Wesley Siobhan and Jacoby DM are narrating this book. Say less. You could have just said narrators, y'all favorites, and I would have knew what you were signaling. I would have knew, oh, pre-order that. Like, do it immediately, stat, because the way in which they're going to be running through my ears and just scrambling my brain in this book, I know it's worth it. So, can't get enough. Will be read in the month of March, and that will close out that series. Now, speaking of series and ones that I need to continue on, I'm going to be reading Therese Clark's Chaser. I have been fighting back like a Western or cowboy romance vibe with a stick. Like, I have been pushing it back until I can't push it back any further. But it's time. And I think Therese hinted at the fact that this could be her next audiobook release. Now, I'm not saying that it is, but I'm also not saying that it's not. And if it is, me being on her art team, I beg. I'm ready. Whatever she gives me, I'm ready, because I thoroughly enjoy being a part of the Courageous Love series. Like, each book that I read just sucks me in and draws me in a little bit more. And it's time for Chaser. Like, it's time for me to get on my Yeehaw era and just live and reside there. I plan on also sprinkling in a little of my paranormal, Omega-verse, polyamorous vibes. Like, I've been threading that throughout the last few months. And it's time for me to read Drea Wells's Going Down Smooth. Now, I have heard really great things. And about a couple of months ago, I think it was back in like October or November, I had read another Drea Wells book. And I wind up binging that entire series. Now, this is only a duology, so I might actually wind up reading both. I do own this one on my Kindle, so if I like it, let's go ahead and finish it. Like, this may spark me reading her entire backlist, which I'm trying to pace myself from doing that for artists. I want to just sprinkle in a little book here and there. But the way that Drea writes, it's compelling. And I know I'm going to be in that series for a minute. Like, I'm going to be living amongst her characters and just, weaseling my way through. So I'm going to read this one and come back and give you my thoughts. And then I do have about 3 books that I put on my TBR from last month that I do need to read this month. One being Maya's Burden of Love, which is a romance between a lawyer and I believe a detective that are working on a case, but they have opposite opinions. So this one is one I definitely have to read to give you my thoughts. You Could Do Damage by Casey Mills, which I think is another arranged marriage. So I may do an arranged marriage reading vlog. We'll see. And then lastly, this month coming out is Brianne Denne's Jack Girl Atlanta. This one is an urban fiction. I don't think it has any romance, so this may be the plot twist, because everything that I've read from Brianne so far has been romantic, but I think she also may have the streets on lock with her next urban fiction book. So let's see what Brianne is talking about. That being said, that cares for all of the books that I plan on reading in March, but I'm a mood reader, so I may sneak 1 or 2 more in. But do me a favor, leave me a red flower for You Could Do Damage, or leave me the flower of your choice. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.